Yo, what is up, guys? It's your boy Peach and Orange bringing you a commentary about COD Champs. As you all know, COD Champs is coming up on around March 28th. It's going to be the weekend, March 28th through 30th, and it is going to be one of the most insane things that happens in Call of Duty, if not the most insane thing that happens in Call of Duty every single year, and it honestly is one of my favorite things to watch, and I always reserve that weekend just for the championship, and this year I'm going to do exactly the same because it is such a huge deal to me and I really do love it. But first, just a brief thing about the gameplay. I'm using an AK-47. I was actually trying to get my Loki strike with every gun series. I was trying to go for gameplays for that when doing this episode, and I actually do get a Loki pretty fast, but I was using an MSBS for, I believe, 2 of the kills, and so I decided not to count that and go for a different one with the gun, and I actually did get it because this gun is just insane. It's a really good gun. Suppressor, extended mag, stalker, that's all you need, and you can really go on some nice tears with it, as you see that I do in Octane, getting, I think, 84 kills on this map, so I think it's a good gameplay. But really, what I want to talk about is COD Champs, because the US qualifier was this past weekend, and it was outrageous. It was really strange, because I expected a lot of teams to qualify that didn't, and I expected completely different results, but it was just wild and crazy. And if you guys missed that, basically the top 8 teams, or the 8 teams that are attending the beautiful Call of Duty Championships are Strictly Business, Complexity, Team Caliber, FaZe, Envious, Rise, Optic Gaming, and Xfinity. Those are the US qualifying teams that are going, and it was really surprising for me because Strictly Business actually won, and I've never really expected Strictly Business to be that good of a team. I never expected them to be the powerhouse that they came out to be, and it was a very good job that they were able to do something like that and really go beyond predictions and do so well. But also, a lot of people forget to mention that it was for no prize after the top 8 were picked. There was no really incentive for any teams to try, and so I do think that you can't predict Strictly Business will win COD Champs for that reason, because a lot of teams just did not have the hype that they were at. They didn't have that level because there was no prize. But either way, good jobs to those. I know Censor, Saints, Apathy, and I forget the other guy, but I know that that squad is a really killer squad and is bound to get top 8 in COD Champs. That is almost a 100% chance that they will get that. But basically, I want to give you guys a rundown of the teams, tell you their performance and all that stuff, and my personal predictions. So, from Canada, we have Vex Revenge and Wild Gaming. Neither of those 2 teams are going to get top 8, in my personal opinion. I've seen them scrim. I don't think they're top 8 teams. I think they're very good teams. I definitely expect top 16, but not top 8. Oh, and for you guys who don't know, it is out of 32 teams. But also, here are the rest of the teams. Brazil, we have Brazil 5 stars and SSOF Gaming. So this also is just a region-locked area where you really can't get that many good scrims. You can scrim teams that are better than you, and it really is just a situation where you cannot possibly be as good as these North American or UK teams just because there isn't as much competition, and it really does hold some teams back. So I do not expect those guys in top 8. Then rest of North/South America, we have Aztec Gaming from Mexico. Love the name, but I still do not expect top 8, not even top 16 for those. But then we have France, Vitality Rises and Vitality Returns. This is interesting because I know that the French gamers are actually decent, so they may be able to get top 8. I'm not sure which one's the better team. I haven't done much research into the whole French scene, but they may be able to get top 8, yet I don't think they will. I think they'll just get top 16. Then we have Germany with Killerfish and SK Gaming. Then Nordic Rain Mix, otherwise known in Sweden area. And then Benelux, otherwise known as Netherlands. We have the All-Stars, Spain, Wizards, Italy, Sublime. Rest of Europe is Lightning Pandas. South Africa, Team Rise ZA. United Arab Emirates, Clarity Team. South Korea, NSP, Hong Kong, Taiwan, and Singapore, Ekalion, Australia, New Zealand, Trident, T1 Daughters, Immunity. And so those are the 32 teams. I definitely do expect a good competition, but the teams I really do expect to get top 8 are the US teams and the UK/Ireland teams. Those are definitely the ones I'm going to be looking out for. I heard Lightning Pandas was a maybe, like, Epsilon team. I'm not sure if that's correct or not, but I know the Epsilon team for UK is absolutely insane, and here's the two UK teams that you really do need to watch out for. You need to watch out for Epsilon and TCM Gaming, because these two teams are bound to get top 8 and knock some of these US teams out. The TCM squad is Mad Cat, Gunshi, Rich, and Marky B, and if you guys saw them at the Modern Warfare 3 EGL, I believe 7, they demolished Optic in the finals, which was unreal because at the time, Optic had been winning every single event, and TCM came out and just knocked them off their high horse, and it was insane. It was incredible. Optic even gave them props because it was just an amazing job, and they really did grind their way to the top, and now they've become just absolute stars. And then on the opposite side of things, you have Epsilon with Shane, Jerd, Swanning, and Sanity. And there was a lot of issue in Black Ops 2 of who the best player was in the game, and it was between Karma from Complexity and Jerd. And Jerd was an absolute beast. He got amazing kills with the MP7. He really revolutionized that gun for Black Ops 2 competitive play. And honestly, these two teams, if they don't get top 8, I will be very surprised because they just have some serious powerhouses. But again, the problem is not being able to scrim US teams, not being able to scrim teams that are that much better than you. Now, I'm not saying that Europeans are bad, but what I'm saying is there's not as many European gamers as there are US gamers. Now, the European circuit is still definitely the most active circuit other than the USA circuit, but still I do not expect them to have that much competition over there, and that's why I really am kind of excited about TCM's moving into the Envious house for the next 2 weeks. It's going to be Mad Cat, Gunshi, Rich, and Marky B. They're moving to the Envious house in order to just scrim some US teams, get that land setting against Envious, and really train the teams as a whole. We've seen this before with UK teams coming over. We've seen it with, I believe, TCM as, again, I believe they went to the Red Bull headquarters to play Optic, and the thing about it is it's like a good type of pre-thing, but it's really weird because Gfinity this year, or Gfinity 3, is actually going to be held the weekend before COD Champs, and I'm not sure exactly where it is. I think it's going to be in England or in UK. It almost always is. But the thing about that is I know a lot of teams are not going to it to practice for Champs, but then a lot of other teams are going to it so they can practice for Champs. It's a really just controversial type of event, whether or not to go to it or whether to just stay home and scrim on the Xbox One, get some new features in there, and just make sure you have your team strats down. But I saw a lot of pro players tweeting out today, and I know Enable from Elevate, he tweeted out that a lot of teams in Halo would go to pre-events and do better at the major events. So this pre-event is going to be interesting. Gfinity 3 is definitely going to widen our views on who is going to actually win COD Champs. There is going to be some money on the line there, but COD Champs is insane. $1 million prize pot. That's something you just cannot overlook, in the sense where all these events are really 50Ks, 10Ks, 20Ks. We never see $1 million, and that is just insane, and that's an incentive that you just, it's incredible. Like, if I was fighting for $1 million, you know how much I would actually try and put myself on the line. It probably would be one of the most intense things that you can ever do. Fighting for $1 million is incredible, especially when you're gaming for $1 million, and there's already so much high pressure situations, and that's where I really expect teams to either choke or clutch at. So it's going to be a very, very strange tournament, but the people, or the teams I'm expecting in top 8, I'm not going to make top 4 predictions or top 1 predictions or anything like that, because anything can happen. But the eight teams I really am expecting to do well are Strictly Business, Complexity, FaZe, Envious, Optic of course, then TCM, Epsilon, and it's going to be a really big toss-up. If Rise or Xfinity make it, I don't think they will. I think they're going to go to top 16, and my 8th would most likely be Team Caliber. But again, we have TEC Intensity from the UK, Team Orbit from the UK as well, and Vitality Rises from France. Those 3 teams actually might have a shot at it, but I don't don't think it's going to be possible. I really do think the US and UK teams are just too much of powerhouses, and that's another thing. I wish they would have changed it and maybe made it so there could have been more US teams, because we have teams from Singapore, and yes, it's cool, we have teams from all over the world, but it's not skill level. I mean, Singapore, no offense, they had 3 people in their tournament, in the regional tournament, and one of them got disqualified, and then they just 3-0'd the other one. So it really is just like, really? I mean, this isn't really skill-based. It's not skill-based, it's more of a just world-based, so they can get more viewers and call it the World Championships. But I do believe that more US teams should have gone in, especially one of the Curse teams. We saw Curse New York and Curse Las Vegas get kicked out, and that is just insane to think of. Curse Las Vegas won the last COD Champs. They won it. They won it. It was Karma, Parasite, Miracles, and Killa. And now Miracles, Killa, and Parasite are all not going to the Call of Duty World Championships 2014. That is something that you cannot really wrap your mind around, because these guys are champions. They've been grinding the game. They've been really working as a team. They stayed as a team. What could have gone wrong? And that is really just the question you have to ask. What went wrong? The US Championships, I mean, the US qualifiers, I really did expect them to be top 4, and they just didn't even qualify. Teams like Xfinity and Rise qualified above them, and I'm not taking anything away from those teams, but I really did not expect them to actually do so well, because Xfinity, if you don't know, is also TVA. That's what their old name was, and that is Mud Dog, Doubt, I think, Intake, and then one more. And the thing about those guys is they're really good players, but they're only like top 16 players. They've never really finished top 8 consistently at events, and that was very surprising. And then also Rise, a lot of people were bashing on Rise because they kept on playing GBs with E-Girls. They really weren't grinding as a team, but they came out and they absolutely dominated. They really did a phenomenal job, and they made sure that they were a powerhouse team to mess with. So those two teams are definitely they're definitely going to be combatants in COD Champs, but my predictions are them not making actual top 8 because of the fact that they're not as consistent as the other teams. But again, this is Call of Duty Ghosts. Really anything can happen. It's not that good of a game, and so many flukes are bound to happen. But guys, this was my short commentary, or actually really long commentary, about COD Champs. Tell me how you like it, and also tell me if you think I should start uploading my GB matches to here, like little live commentaries, things like that. Maybe my MLG matches, my GB matches, all those types of things. And also, should I make a song for COD Champs? I was thinking of doing it, and if I should, do you have any song suggestions? Those really help, because it is kind of hard going for lyrics and going for all these things, finding a good song, finding instrumental remakes. It actually does take a very long time for me to make a song. I'm currently in the process of making one for 2v2, like GB duo things, and I think that will be a good one, but I do want your opinion. So please, guys, leave them in the comment section below. Give me that like, favorite, subscribe if you guys want to. Thank you so much for watching the gameplay. Please go tune into COD Champs. It's going to be an insane event, and you definitely do not want to miss that. March 28th through 30th, that weekend is going to be awesome and incredible for the Call of Duty gaming community. But my name is Peach Orange. This has been a beautiful commentary with 84+ kills. Thank you so much for watching, and peace.